Yes, good afternoon everybody. It is basketball fever time with the Breakers making their first ever trip to the grand finals of the NBL competition in Australia, as are their opponents, the Cairns Taipans. So we are going to have a new champion, whoever it is. Joining me this week once again, Brendan Pongia, former Tall Black. Pongs, it's pretty exciting that we've made the finals.
Very, very exciting. You know, I mentioned last week's, when I was here last time, mentioning and talking about last week's game. I'm excited about this series though. Two teams that have never been to the finals. Teams probably, I look at the Cairns Taipans, very similar to the Perth Wildcats. I think the Perth Wildcats are a little bit tougher defensively, but it looks like a huge series. But I'm going to make a call now. I think the Breakers will do it in two.
Geez, off the bat.
That's right there, give it to you.
Gutsy. It's the best defensive side. Offence-wise, the Breakers, I think they've scored 88 points per game. The Cairns give up 75 points per game, so it's offence versus defence. Yeah,
well, definitely, but you've got to think about the series that the Breakers have just come out of against the Perth Wildcats. Perth, a fantastic defensive team, and I think after game one they woke the Breakers up, and the Breakers are a different side now, and as are Cairns, they're a different side too. We think about the series with Cairns this year. They've won. The Breakers have won all 3 games. The Cairns Taipans, the last time they played was at the end of January. And once again, a close game. But Cairns are a different side also. But I think if the Breakers come with the same intensity that they did against the Perth Wildcats, especially in those last 2 games, I just think they'll be too strong.
As we have a look at the odds, Brendan, we are aware that they've won their last 5 straight against Cairns, 8 of the last 9, but overall it's 14-all. But that counts for nothing. Yeah. But we can still see here that the Breakers are warm favourites enough, taking a huge drop in the odds, and I can tell you that's on the base. On the back of many thousands of dollars going on the Breakers to win first up against Cairns.
Oh, definitely, but you got to think about some of those Kiwis. I heard Phil Jones on the show the other day. He's with the Cairns Taipans. He loves coming home and playing against New Zealand as his mates. You know,
and they've got Lindsay Tate.
Lindsay
as well.
Tate also. They both love playing against their Tall Black teammates, and it's an opportunity for those guys to step up. And if New Zealand aren't on their game, if the Breakers aren't on their game, look out, because this Cairns side does have enough talent spread out across the board to provide an upset. You just don't know.
Are you expecting a close one, Brendan? You know, we can see there the 10 and under for the Breakers is 240, the 11 over is 250. So we'll concentrate on those two because you think they'll win. Yeah. At home, are they going to be dominant enough to win by 11 or more?
I think they will be. I think they will win by 11 or more. But then again, you look at the spread of points over the last 3 games this season, and they've been close games. But I think the Breakers have turned a corner. I really do, and I think they're good enough tonight to win by more than 11 points.
This is also great, not only for just basketball, it's great for all teams. I think, like you think about the Warriors, you think about the netball teams, you think about the Phoenix. This is new ground. We've never won an Australian competition. This could be a real benchmark. Well,
creating history, you know, I think it's a great thing, and if the Breakers can do it, or when the Breakers do it, I think it's great for not just basketball in New Zealand, for New Zealand sport, you know. And maybe they, you think about the rugby league teams, we think about the Phoenix, the Warriors. Maybe they can take a leaf out of the book of the Breakers, and they can have an opportunity maybe to win an Australian championship. But looking at the Warriors right now, you know, I think they've got to, you know, I know the season's early, and I support them, but you know they've got a lot of work to do as well.
Looking at a bit of the game action actually from the semi-finals that we've seen, as you say, they really did turn a corner nicely. They got behind, they lost that first game, but they really came on good, as we can see here. I think this was game 2 actually, and it was really awesome to watch.
Always tough to play, and you saw Kirk Penny there. A lot was talked about here, a bit of Biffo as well, but a lot was talked about Kirk Penny not being able to step up. And Perth is a tough place to play the game, but you got to fight fire with fire when you're in opposing teams' gyms. There you go. There's Kirk Penny again. He had a point to prove, and he sure did. You know, 38 points. He was dominant, but yeah, everybody played well, I thought, in this game. Braswell stepped up in the final quarter, and Abercrombie. I think in order for the Breakers to win, if they can all, you know, everybody add a little bit, your CJ Brutons, your Abercrombies, your Wilkinsons. I think if everyone gets 10+ points, they can't be beaten.
I mentioned at the top that it's the first time these two sides have made the finals, and looking through the rosters, CJ Bruton has played 15 grand final matches. How key is experience in finals ball?
Oh, definitely, and I know they're Australian competition, but then you look across the board at Dylan Boucher, he's won a number. I think he's won nearly 10 national titles. He's won with Brisbane. Mika Vukona, he won with the Dragons. So players have been in that playoff arena before. They've won the big games, and I think it is important because down the stretch, it's the team that has the most composure down in the fourth quarter will be the team that gets the job done.
Kirk Penney key once again?
Yeah, definitely. I think Kirk is a key, but teams know that. They know that he's a player that can put points on the board, but they've got to watch a number of players. You know, like I said, Braswell's another player that needs to step up. CJ Bruton's a key player. If he can hit big shots from the outside, it takes less pressure off Kirk. You know, defences are going to be throwing themselves at Kirk, but if everyone else is doing their job, it's hard to sort of concentrate on one person because it's going to leave someone else open, isn't it?
Same as last week, we've got an option on total number of points that Kirk Penney's going to score. Let's have a look at 21 and under, 185, 22 and over, 185. What do you reckon this week?
I think 21 and under, because I think you'll get an even match from everyone on the team. I think everybody will sort of have 16s and 17s, and I think in order to beat this side, I think everybody's got to contribute.
All right, and Mika Vukona and Wilkinson, as we mentioned, they've been absolute warhorses, haven't they? And I think the rest of the team are rallied round because we've had injuries, we've had illnesses, but they just keep hitting the boards and just going amazing.
You need that hardness and you need that toughness. It doesn't matter what sport it is. You've got to have your players that sort of step up. You know, it's the same in rugby. It's the same in rugby league. You've got to have guys there that are going to go head to head and they're going to put their bodies on the line, and so that they can provide space for the glory boys. I call them the glory boys that can finish off and end up with 15, 20 points in the game. But in order for them guys to get their 15 or 20 points, it takes the likes of a Mika Vukona setting a good screen and picking up rebounds. So the whole team is important to their success tonight. Just
before we get out of here, let's have a quick look at the championship winner. Here we can see it's just, they opened at $6 at the start of the season. Wow. It would be lovely to have some of that, but $130, $330, similar price to the overall. We do have to go to Cairns, but you're naming it in 2.
I reckon in 2. I really do. I think they can get the job done tonight and they'll finish it. And it'd be nice for it to go to 3 so that they come back home and the fans get to see it. But I think they'll be too strong. I wouldn't rule off Cairns though. I think it'll be a tight game. But tonight I think 11 plus. To the Breakers.
I was going to say the Warriors. Brendan Pongia, 11 plus, you nearly said the Warriors, but it is the Breakers, and let's hope the Warriors and the Phoenix and Co can carry on and maybe get and threaten an Australian title. That's it from us here. We'll be back in the coming week, maybe next week if the Breakers take more than just 2 games.